You were talking today about the spiritual music that you brought in. Is that something that happened? Like, when did that happen in your musical career and life?
I would say the first time I felt something like that was in church. And maybe before that was probably listening to music in my parents' house. It's just growing up, and certain music touched me in certain ways, some didn't. You know, when I first heard Miles's horn, when I first heard Coltrane's saxophone, when I first heard Elvin Jones' drum solo, there's all of those musicians and their colleagues are all fantastic, but some things have a different kind of spiritual effect on you where you shake inside, it touches you. I'm trying to think of who the master musician was who said, and it escapes me now, music can touch you, but you can't touch music. But it's kind of that kind of a vibe, and that's where it started. And then I didn't want to search for it, but I wanted to put myself in a realm where I can have that kind of feeling while I'm working. That was important to me.
So when you were doing the more commercial stuff with Living Color and some of your own works, there was still a thread of that going through?
Oh, totally. I wouldn't do anything like Living Color or my Native Lands project or working with Pharaoh or Wayne. I mean, I wouldn't do it without the spiritual element. It's for me, it's almost impossible to play without that. It just comes in different volumes. And Living Color is like something that I'm a part of from the beginning, so I can put 100% of my spiritual vibe into the project. Not that I couldn't with someone like Wayne Short or Mos Def or Uma Sangari, but I think with Living Color, we were really, we were building our own pyramid and structuring the vibe and the color and the tones and the shapes, so that's a different kind of an experience. But yeah, everything that I do, it's important for me to have that element of it because for me, it's just the truth.
It's difficult for any artist, I think, to stay true to that, though. But it was a struggle for you, or you?
I don't know any other way. I don't think I would be good playing music not feeling that. I think I would rather not play if I couldn't feel that. It's just my opinion. I've been in situations that were totally uninspiring, and I couldn't find the vibe, and I just stopped. Sometimes it took a few times for me to get there because it was a different situation. But at this point in my life, I only want to have those experiences. It's meaningful. I mean, there's a dollar value applied to your performances, obviously. There's fan base and autographs and so on, but the most valuable part of that experience for me is the feeling of it. Sometimes even with 10 people in the audience, it feels amazing, or with maybe not a successful tour. But the spirit is there, the audience is feeling you really want to hold those moments, near and dear to you. So at this point, I would say that that's a norm for me. That's one of the criteria for me to be able to get on stage and even enjoy myself.
Okay. And in the last question, I asked Toshi about activism, and she kind of recoiled from that term. But is there any kind of activism in just you doing your thing? I mean, is that how you show your support for your ideas that are important to you?
Oh, absolutely. Living Color, I mean, you know the music, this funny vibe. There's getting in the elevator and having a woman clutch her bag and you're just getting in the elevator. There's walking into venues sometimes and having people look at you like, what are you doing here? There's even stories, and you saw the James Brown movie where James Brown sold out a show but he couldn't walk into the lobby of the hotel he was staying. So yeah, the activism is important. What Toshi said is important too. You have to activate. It's not enough for us to say that that's pissing us off. I can't just say the lady in the elevator clutching her bag makes me angry. What am I going to do about it? What am I going to say? What am I going to show? How am I going to explain myself to that experience? And I think that's also very important. So instrumental music, whether I'm playing jazz or rock, whatever, the answer is yes. I think rappers have a more direct way because it's dialogue and they're saying it sometimes without rhyme and reason, just feeling. And you get a real raw sense. Chuck D being one of my favorite rappers, Chuck speaking about things with or without the beat is very powerful. So yes, it is a form, and I think you can do it silently and you can do it verbally or with the guitar, with the drum set, but it's important that we do it. And I'll end on one of the most powerful images as a fan of a jazz musician that I saw was when Max Roach played with the Free Mandela headband on. I think it was at Carnegie Hall or Radio, one of these bigger venues in New York City. I remember just how that impacted me. There I was to go see Max, and he wore this bandana for the whole show, which was a powerful thing. He didn't talk about it, and Max was very verbal about those kinds of things, but he played incredibly well, and he was still Max, but he had this headband on, and it was just as loud and powerful as his drum solo. So that had an impact on me as a teenager, and I thought about the power of using your voice and your visual and your art and your sound to make a point.